And good morning again, and welcome to our weekly PUPS webinar. Before we get started with today's topic, as always, what we are showing today will be in the most recent version of PUPS, which we call PUPS 2.0. So if there are items or features that don't look the same as in your version of PUPS, it may be because that you are not using PUPS 2.0. And if you have any questions about that, or if you're interested in learning more, please feel free to let us know and we can meet with you separately. And if you have any questions during the presentation, you can enter them into the Q&A at the bottom of the screen, and one of us here on the call can provide the answer. With that, let's get started. Our topic for today is communication logs. When it is necessary to record daily or regular status updates and observations for your clients outside of progress notes, then the communication logs or Comm Logs may be a great solution. Some of our customers are using a modified version of the Comm Logs to meet the need for a daily achievement system. And so if this applies to you and you would like more information about that, please reach out to our team. But for the purposes of this webinar, we are focusing on the basic Comm Log feature that is standard in PUPS 2.0. So let's take a look at that. Navigate to Client, Other, Communication Logs. If you have access to multiple locations, you will first need to select the location. Then set your dorm. And once you set the dorm, you'll be directed to the page that displays all of the clients in that dorm with pictures if you have included the picture on the client's demographics page. You'll notice that the date at the top will default to today's date, and that's because the Comm Log is built and intended to be a daily record for the clients. The process of adding Comm Logs is different than other areas, like progress notes, because you don't first have to select an active client in order to enter the log. Simply click on the name and photo of the client and enter the log on the screen. You'll notice when I click on the first client, it will take me to this text box. And you can see here that we are entering a log for Jack Bauer. In the text box, I can write the necessary details, or I can even choose from my templates by clicking this arrow. Because this is not a progress note or a billable form, the info that you enter here may contain other details about the client on this day, such as your observation of their presentation, behavior, attitude, any contacts they made, interaction with staff, etc. So for now, I'm just going to say that Jack had a good day. After entering the log, set the start and end date and time of the shift, and then click Save. Then you can proceed to enter the logs for the rest of the clients in the dorm. So if we select our next client, Jason Bourne, enter the log for him, set the shift, and save. You'll notice that after saving the log, our client, Jack, is now green, giving us a visual indication that he has a log entered for this day. Our client, Jason, is blue. That means this is the currently selected client, and if I were to scroll down, I would be still on the log for Jason Bourne. And if I scroll further, I will see any logs entered for this day. So for 4-3, here's the log we just entered, and we have an additional box. This indicates that you can enter as many Comm Logs per day as necessary. For instance, if you have multiple shifts or multiple staff working a shift that all need to enter logs, they can all come in here, click on the client, enter their own log for the day, and it will stamp their name and the time and date that they entered that log. Now, if we scroll back up to the top, you also have the option to enter a daily dorm log. Click on the Dorm Logs tab, and here you'll see if there are any logs entered for this day. Click the green Create New Dorm Log button to enter a new log for this day. You'll get the same text box as you would for an individual, as well as a selection list for the staff on duty. Now, keep in mind that this entry applies to the whole dorm. So something like anything that everyone in the dorm participated in, notes for the next shift staff coming on board, anything they need to know that's going on in that dorm. Then you can select the staff that were on duty. You can actually select more than one. And then click Save to save the dorm log. And now we have a daily dorm log for this dorm on this day. And we can toggle back to the Client Logs tab to go back to the individual Comm Log entry page. Here at the top, you'll also see some other options. Click in the Actions tab for these options. For instance, if you need to change the dorm and start entering logs for clients in a different dorm, you can click this to be taken back to the dorm selection screen. Or you can also generate a report by clicking the Comm Log Report option. This report can also be found under the Reports menu or by using the menu search. So there's a few different ways that you can arrive at this report page. You can generate this Comm Log report by either the whole dorm or by an individual client, whether they are active or discharged. For now, let's pull a report for the whole dorm. So we'll first select our location. Once we do that, we'll get a dorm selection box. And you can run this for more than one dorm. And then you can select the date range. If you just want to see one day, you can select the day here and leave the end date blank. Otherwise, you can put a start date and an end date if you want to run the report for a date span, for instance, for the past week or the past month, etc. Leave View Student Entries on Yes in order to view the logs for each client in that dorm. It will default to yes. Leave View Dorm Entries on Yes if you also want to see the dorm logs for that date range. And so that would be the log that we entered on the Dorm Logs tab that applies to everyone in that dorm. And then you can also either include or exclude clients without entries and discharged clients. So if you only want to see active clients who have had an entry, you can leave these on No. However, if it's important to you that you know who does not have an entry, or that you also see the log entries for clients that have since been discharged but were active during your date range, you can set these options to yes, and it will give you more data in your report. So for now, we'll just leave these on No and leave these on yes. So we're going to see all the student and dorm entries for our dorm for today. Then click Generate Comm Log. This will give you a PDF of the logs that fit your parameters. So you'll see the name at the top. You'll see the text that was typed in the log along with the shift, and then also the stamp of the person that entered that log and the date and time that it was entered. And that is basically it for Comm Logs. This is a really easy way to enter information about your clients where you can see all of the clients in a dorm in the same place. It takes a lot less time than navigating into progress notes for things that really don't fit the normal progress note or billable note parameters. So please feel free to put any questions you might have into the Q&A. If you're curious about this feature and it's something that you don't use, we would love the opportunity for you to check it out, ask us some questions. We always love to work with you to utilize more of the PUP system. And also, if you have any other questions about PUPs in general, our team is here and we can hang on the call for a minute. If you have any questions related to Comm Logs or anything else, feel free to put them into the Q&A. Otherwise, you're free to go, and hopefully we'll see you on the next webinar. Next week, we'll be discussing the bedboard. So please pass that along to any staff you feel would benefit. Thank you very much for attending and have a wonderful day.